Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Ann Reardon and today we're making a new Instagram logo dessert with a crispy base, a cinnamon donut flavoured mousse, a strawberry gel and a coffee cremeux with a mirror glaze over the top and the logo on top of that. I made this other chocolate mousse dessert with the old logo all the way through a long time ago now, so many of you requested the new logo. My question to you is, do you prefer the new logo or the old one? I'll put a poll in the cards. You just need to click on that little I button to get to the cards in the corner there and let me know your thoughts. To make the crispy base, we need rice bubbles, cookies, oil and chocolate, and I'll put all the recipe quantities on the howtocookthat.net website for you and I'll link to that below. Melt the oil and the chocolate together in the microwave and then stir through the rice bubbles and the cookies. Now you can choose any cookies for this. The whole of the rest of the dessert is gluten-free, so if you need a gluten-free dessert, just choose some gluten-free cookies here. Place a ring on a tray lined with baking paper and pour in that base mixture and just press it down to form a disc. Now you can of course follow me here on YouTube and also on Instagram. I'm at How to Cook That there as well. For YouTube you can subscribe by clicking the subscribe button, or I'll also link you below to subscribing via email and I will email you out each time there is a new video. Now we're going to put that in the freezer to set hard. Once it's frozen, you just push the base out of the ring and then I just want you to wrap that in plastic wrap and store it in the freezer till we're ready to use it. Now for the strawberry gel. Wash and hull all your strawberries, and as well as the strawberries you're going to need gelatin, water and a little sugar. Add the gelatin to the water and stir it through, and we're going to leave that to bloom or just absorb that water and thicken up a bit. Place the sugar and the strawberries into a blender and blitz them and then turn it onto high and get it really smooth. Pour it through a fine sieve and push it with a spoon just to get everything through except the seeds. The seeds make it taste a bit gritty and we don't want that. Heat the gelatin in the microwave and then pour it into the strawberry puree while you stir it the whole time. Pour that into a ring and then weigh that down with something like a book to stop it oozing out from underneath and freeze it. Once it is frozen, to get it out, just heat the edges of the ring and lift that off. For the coffee cremeux, you need dark chocolate, milk chocolate, coffee granules, egg yolks, sugar and cream. Put the chocolate into a bowl and put a fine sieve over the top and leave that to one side. Then add the sugar to the egg yolks and whisk them together. Pour the cream into a saucepan and you want to heat that until it just starts to boil. Remove it from the heat and add a little of the hot cream into the egg yolks and whisk that well. And now you want to pour that into the cream and again whisking it straight away so we don't get any lumps of cooked egg in there. Place that back over the heat and cook it for just a moment until you see it starting to cling to the bottom of the pan like this. Immediately take it off the heat and pour it through that sieve onto the chocolate. Sprinkle the coffee over the top and then leave it for a minute to melt the chocolate. Stir together the coffee cremeux, this is one of my favourite bits, and then give it a good whisk to mix it all together. Then you want to pour that into a ring and weight that down also and freeze that. Once it is frozen, lift off the ring. Now this will still be quite soft even when it's frozen because it's going to be like a sauce when we cut into the dessert. Place that on top of the strawberry gel and put it back in the freezer. To make the white part of the logo, we're going to use marshmallows. Place them into a piping bag and microwave for 30 seconds. And now they're all soft and sticky. Cut a piece off the end of the bag and put some baking paper over the new Instagram logo and rub it with a little oil. Then pipe the marshmallow around, carefully following the line of the camera. And at the end, just slightly overlap it. The marshmallow will sink down into itself. You can pipe more than one of these so that you have a choice and you can choose the best one at the end and then place that into the freezer so that that can go firm too. For the donut mousse we need milk, cream, vanilla, donuts, water, gelatin, sugar, egg yolks, corn flour, more cream, and mascarpone cheese. Add the sugar and the flour to the egg yolks and stir them together well. Now mix together the water and the gelatin and leave that to bloom. Then in a pan add the milk, the first lot of cream, the vanilla and the donuts. Put that over the heat and cut the donuts in half so they can soak up all that milk. Bring it to the boil and then take it off the heat and leave it for about 20 minutes for them to soften right up. Heat it up again and then push it through a sieve, or you could use a blender. Either way, we just want to get it really smooth. Then add in the egg yolk mixture and whisk that together. Return it to the heat and stir it constantly until it starts to thicken and bubble. Add in the gelatin and stir that through. That will thin the mixture down when you do that. And then add in the mascarpone and whisk that well so that it all melts in there. Remove that from the heat and you need to leave this to cool to room temperature. Once it is cooled, whip up the remaining cream to soft peaks like this. And then add a big scoopful of the whipped cream into the donut mousse and mix it through thoroughly just to lighten the mixture. Then we want to add the rest of the whipped cream and fold it through gently so you keep as much of that air in there to make it as light as possible. Line the base of your container with baking paper. An ice cream container would be perfect shape for this, so you can just use one of those. And then add 5 cups of your mousse. Give it a little shake to level it and then place that in the freezer for about 10 minutes, leaving the rest of the mousse just at room temperature. We don't want the rest of it to set. Add the coffee cremeux together with the strawberry gel and push them down into the dessert. Top it up with more donut mousse and then add in your disc of crispy base. Level off the top using the container as your guide, and then you want to place that whole dessert in the freezer to freeze it. For our rainbow mirror glaze, you'll need sweetened condensed milk, white chocolate, isomalt, or you could use sugar, water, glucose syrup or corn syrup, cream, gelatin, and a bowl of water. Add the gelatin leaves to the water so it can soften, and then in one pan pour in the isomalt so that can melt, and in another pan heat up the water, cream, and glucose syrup. Once the isomalt is melted and totally clear, pour in the hot cream mixture, being careful because it will bubble right up and steam a lot, as you can see. And then remove that from the heat. Squeeze as much water out of the gelatin sheets as you can and add them into the pan and then stir that through. They'll just melt in there straight away. Then add in the sweetened condensed milk and then the white chocolate as well. There are so many different glaze recipes that I've shown you how to make before. So what I'll do is I'll link you to a playlist at the end of this one so you can choose different flavoured glazes and different ones there. Split the glaze into 3 containers, making one slightly bigger, and colour them pink and yellow. Split the third one and make it blue and purple. Mix some of the pink and yellow together to make different shades of orange, and do the same with the blue and purple. To get the dessert out of the container, you just need to put the whole container in a sink of hot water, being careful not to get it on the actual mousse, just on the sides of the container. Place a cake board on top and flip it over and just slide the container off. If it doesn't come off straight away, you just need to pop it back in the water for another 30 seconds. Place that on a cup over a baking dish and then pour the yellow glaze over one corner on one side, and then add some light orange and then some darker orange glaze. Then add pink across the middle, following the shape of how the colours go on the logo, and then to the other side add purple and then your 2 shades of blue. Now that looks a bit like it's got definite lines and we want to blend it together a bit more, so what we're going to do is heat up some of the yellow glaze so it's a little bit warm and a little bit thinner, and pour a thin layer of that over the yellow side of the dessert and spread it out quickly, so we just get a thin layer over the top there. Now do the same with some pink. Heat it up so it's warm and thin and quickly spread it over the center, overlapping onto the purple, and that just makes it look a lot more blended in. Take the logo out of the freezer and sprinkle it with some cornstarch so you can handle it without it sticking to your fingers. Lift it up, shake off some of that cornstarch and carefully place it on top of the dessert. Then add the circle and the little dot. And there you have the new logo on a dessert. Let it defrost completely in the fridge and then slice into it to reveal the layers of that donut mousse, the strawberry gel, coffee cremeau and the crispy base. This just tastes amazing when all of those layers come together. Subscribe to How to Cook That for more of my videos. You can subscribe on both YouTube or email and I'll link to that below, or both if you're a super fan. Click here for the recipe, here for more glazed desserts. And Ann Fan of the Week goes to Franziska, who made my vegan chocolate cake recipe and took a great photo. If you bake one of my recipes, you can upload it in the comments section of the website or put it on Instagram and put @howtocookthat in your description so I can find it. Make it a great week and I'll see you on Friday.